Good morning, those of you that have joined me. As it says in the description, this is going to be a pretty easy, simple flow this morning. It's going to be 45 minutes long, so 40 minutes of asana, and then 5 minutes of shavasana, or more if you want it. So we're going to get started. I know at least two of you are here. I can't see. Oh, Ed. Good morning, Ed. I don't know who the other person is, but when you pop up, I will say hi. So we're going to get started. Start getting comfortable like I am. Go ahead and take off any extra layers of clothing. I'm always so cold in the morning, so I layer up, but then slowly you start to unwind. So rolling down onto your back, lying flat, maybe spreading the legs to the edge of the mat, maybe bringing your arms out wide. So you're finding Shavasana. You can close your eyes if you'd like here, or you can keep them open with a little drishti gaze. Deep breaths. You can place right hand on belly, left hand near heart, feeling the chest and belly rise with the breath. Let's take 2 more inhales here. If you want to open up your mouth, exhale it out. Last one, count maybe 6, 8, or 10 on that inhale breath. And then try to exhale just as long. Starting out with a very gentle stretch through the side body, banana pose. So you're going to walk your legs off to the right side of your mat. Right leg comes off first. Then you stack left ankle on top of right ankle. If that hurts, then just set them down next to one another. Then start to reach your arms up overhead, reaching right arm out to the right. And then reach your left arm up over the ear. If you want to take your right hand, grab that left wrist to pull a little deeper, you can. So it's like half moon, but on your back. So not quite as hard on the lungs. Able to take nice deep breaths, not going too far. And let's start to change. Unwind the arms, unwind the legs. Walk your legs off to the left side of your mat. Move anything out of the way that may be there. Right ankle can stack on top of left or just be beside. Left arm reaches out, right arm up over the ear, and then you can take that right wrist if you'd like. Just trying to feel this from right wrist all the way down to the ankle. Little mind-body connection. Maybe close your eyes and think about where you feel this the most. Where you're tightest. And change. Come back through center. Bring your arms down by your sides. And then if you have a block, you can lift your hips and put the block underneath your hips. We're taking a double wind removing. So pull both knees in. Wrap your arms around to wherever you can grab. And that may be just individual knees, and that is fine. You want your knees as close together as possible, and they may be wide, depending on your hips. But if you can get them a little closer, do, and then keep your feet side by side. The goal is to one day pull those thighs down into the lower abdomen, into the belly. But you can see mine are way up high this morning, nice and tight. So wherever they go, it's perfectly fine. Let's walk our fingers over to the right shin, interlace them tightly to the webbing, lift your left leg up, flex your toes towards your face, and then slowly, with a straight left leg, float that leg down. So your leg may hover over the mat. You may have open hip flexors and the heel floats all the way to the mat. Or if you need to, bend that left knee and put the sole of the foot on the floor. Whatever allows you to pull that right thigh into the belly is where you want to go. Relax the right foot. You can even bounce it to make sure it's nice and relaxed. Elbows squeeze into the sides of the body wherever they meet. Chin is slightly tucked, but not squeezed into the chest. Double wind removing. Pull that left knee back towards the chest. One breath. And then we're going into the other side. Fingers slide over to the left shin. Right leg lifts up. Flex those right toes. Allow that leg to float down. So this may not feel like big movements or much, but I'm getting a really nice hip stretch here. So as long as you're feeling something, you're doing something. And that's what yoga's about. Finding where your edge is. After watching Gail's flow yesterday afternoon, I decided not to lock my cats in the room and listen to them scratching the door. Just let them walk around. And double winter moving. Bring your right knee back into the center. Let's take 2 breaths here. One more. Inhale. Pull those knees a little closer together. Exhale. Pull them down. Try to reach your tailbone towards the back wall. That'll make it a little more intense. And then separate your knees. Pull them down towards the armpits. You can stay right here, or if you'd like, take this into happy baby. Reach up, grab the outsides of the feet, elbows into the insides of the shins, and then if you want to, rock side to side. Lots of places you can go here, trying to find where it feels good to you. Another thing you can do, although it's early, and this is early in this class, you can straighten one leg, bend the opposite knee, bringing the heel towards the hip, and just get a nice hamstring stretch. And then take it to the other side. If your leg does not straighten all the way, that is no big deal. Back to happy baby if you're moving into half lotus. And then bring the soles of your feet together. Lower the pinky blade part of your feet towards the mat for bound angle. So lowering the knees towards the mat, your hands can stay in prayer. They can be down by your sides. You can place them on your inner thighs to help gravity. Pull those thighs down. Or you can traction through the spine by taking your hand into a C shape, putting it onto the hips and pushing away. Bring the knees up towards the ceiling, hip width apart, walk your heels towards your hips. Take an inhale breath and then just lift the hips very gently. You can place your block underneath the hips here, or you can take this into full bridge, interlacing the fingers. Keep the chin off of the chest. I'm still able to talk. That means I'm breathing, and you should be too. Eye gaze is straight up towards the ceiling. Knees are still hip width apart. You can always make sure that is happening by putting the block between your knees in this pose as well. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the backs of the legs. Little warm up for the back of those legs. Lift up onto the tippy toes. Release your arms out from underneath you if they're there. Roll down one vertebra at a time until you reach your tailbone. Windshield wiper knees side to side. One more thing on our backs before we make our way into tabletop. Walk your feet off to the sides. Your feet may actually be on your floor, depending on how wide your legs go, and then keep that windshield wipering going. Dropping knees side to side. The next time your right knee drops into center, pick up your left ankle, place it on top of that right knee, and just use that ankle to push that right knee towards the floor. It may not go very far, it may be a very small movement, but you should be feeling this on the outside of the hips. Place your feet back onto the floor or the sides of your mat, windshield wiper again. Left knee drops in, right ankle takes to the left knee, and then push down. Ooh, I feel this much more in this side than on the other side. And you'll find that your sides feel very different, even in the same pose. One side tends to be stronger, the other side a little more flexible. That's why we do yoga, to try to even that up a little bit. They may never become completely even, but that's our goal. Put your feet back on the mat, windshield wiper side to side. And then we're gonna rock and roll our way into tabletop, but if you'd rather just roll onto your side, that's okay. Take 3 or 4 rocks. So warming up all the muscles around the spine, massaging, and then cross at the ankles. Take your palms to the mat, walk back. Shoulders over wrist, fingers spread wide. Push into the L part of the hand. Look back, make sure your knees are hip width apart and your shins, you can't see them because they're right behind those thighs. Take an inhale, move into cow. Belly drops down, chin lifts, tailbone lifts up. Exhale, round into cat. Push that spine to the ceiling, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. One more time, inhale, cow. And exhale. exhale, fully cat. Pull the belly button to the spine, send the spine to the ceiling. Come back to a neutral spine, kickstand that right leg, open up into kneeling half moon pose. So the leg can be lifted parallel to the floor. I love to flex my toes here. If you'd like to put your foot on the mat, that's just as good. We're just lifting and reaching out of those left fingers. You can even whip that arm around and next to the ear to really feel the length from head to toe. You can take this into Chapasana, bending through that left knee, grab the top of the foot, and then kick back, opening up through the chest. I have seen people with not as much flexibility pull the knee in, find the foot, and then kick back. If you feel like you just couldn't make it there, maybe that's a way to do it. Kick that leg strong. Put that left foot on the mat and cartwheel yourself up and over into your gate pose. Just feeling the stretch down the other side. Inhale back up and over. We're taking this into a little modified wild thing. So maybe you kickstand that right leg a little bit more. Maybe the left leg slides back towards the right leg and then open up through the chest. And change. Cartwheel yourself back over. Bring your toes together and lower your hips to your heels. Rock side to side. Hips release. Forehead massage. Walk your fingers over to the right side of your mat. Again, a lot like banana pose. We're going to try to stretch through that left side so you can keep your palms side by side, shoulder width apart. You can stack left hand on top of right, or you can keep your left hand where it is. Bring your right arm down by the shin. What you're thinking about doing is sending that left hip towards the left side of your mat. And change. You're going to lift your forehead up about an inch. Walk yourself over to the other side. Again, your choice of arms. Try to repeat what you did on the other side just for equanimity. Deep breaths. Come back around. Take this back to tabletop. Kickstand the left foot and open up into the other side. Half moon pose. As if you're reaching out in 5 different directions. Crown of head, right fingers, left foot, and then out of that right foot as well. Chapasana. So if you can't reach back and grab that foot here, bend the knee towards the chest. Maybe you can find the foot there, and maybe you just come here. That's okay. If you can open up a little bit more, go for it. If that just does not work for you, you come right back here, and that's beautiful. Perfect. One more breath, Chapasana, and then slowly release when you're ready. Bringing that right foot to the mat, up and over into gate pose. Stretch down that left side. This should feel good. No pain. If there's pain, you come out. Last big breath, reach and stretch, and then into that modified wild thing. Bring the left hand to the mat, slide the right leg back a little bit so you can open up through the chest. Again, your depth is being mindful of your body and where it is today. Coming back to hands and knees. Now, looking down at those fingers, spread them wide, push into the L part of the hand between the thumb and the first finger. Tuck your toes under, pull the belly in, and lift to downward facing dog. Pedal out through the knees or take a 3-legged dog. Deep breaths. Sending the breath to wherever you feel the tightest here this morning. Maybe it's your shoulders, maybe it's those hips. Maybe you feel tightness in the feet. Some people hold their tension in the arches of the feet. Now, lift up onto tippy toes, bend the knees deeply, turn your heels to the right side of the mat, and then just push the heels down. You can keep those knees bent. If you need more of a stretch, start to straighten the legs to wherever they go. And change. Tippy toes, turn heels to the left side of the mat, keep those knees bent, and then if you want to, straighten them a little bit more. Come back through center, so you're bending the knees, bring your heels towards the back of the mat, and walk your hands back just a little bit. Enough to be able to take your left hand to the center of your mat and lift your right hand up off the mat and grab either back of knee, shin, or ankle of that left leg. If you can straighten the legs, straighten the legs. If you need to keep them bent, that's okay too. We're taking a twist upside down. Looking underneath that left shoulder. detoxifying as we twist. And change. Right hand comes to the center of the mat. Keep those knees bent as you reach and grab that left leg wherever you can. You know, if your hand does not come to the leg, that's okay. You can place your hand on the mat and just use the mat to twist. Nice thing about these Facebook classes, no one can see you. You may not even be able to see yourself, so what does it matter? As long as it feels good, right? And change. Bring your hands back to the mat. We're walking back to downward facing dog. If you need to keep those knees bent, that's fine. Just make sure your arms are straight, your belly and chest is pressed to the thighs. Look forward. Try to straighten the legs as much as you can and walk one foot in front of the other, just like a little tin soldier. So taking your time, go slow until you reach the top of the mat and your baby toes are right next to the thumbs. Bend your knees. Let your belly and chest come a little closer to the thighs. Let your head hang heavy. Here, take palms to opposite elbows. Hang heavier. Nice deep breaths. Interlace your fingers behind the back of the neck. You can stay here. You can pull your chin a little closer to the chest, or you can even wrap your forearms around the sides of the face to create an even deeper spine stretch. But be very gentle. This can be hard on the neck. Release your hands to the floor. Take a little half lift. Reach your arms up over your back. Interlace your fingers. If you need to separate the legs here, that's okay. And then fold yourself back down. Pull the shoulder blades together. Pull the shoulders off of the ears. Shake the head yes and no. Just release the tension. Arms float down. Another half lift. Inhale. Pull the belly in. Shoulders off of the ears. Make your back flat like a table. And then fold back in. Let's come all the way to standing. So you may roll up. You may come up with a flat spine. Let's see who's here. Hi, Lori. Hi, Tony. Relax your arms down by your sides. Deep breath. 3 half sun salutations. You go with your breath at your pace. Arms up overhead on an inhale. You can take a back bend on that inhale breath if you'd like, but on your exhale, you're diving back into the legs. Half lift on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold yourself in. And then come all the way to standing. We're doing that 2 more times. Go with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Pull the belly in. Use your core to rise. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hands down to prayer. Inhale. This time, exhale on a back bend. Take it a little deeper. Lift the chest, pelvis forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, dive into the legs. Use that swan dive to start to stretch those shoulders a little deeper. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Let's take this into a squat. Always gotta love a squat. Heels rise, hips float down. You can use this to tuck and curl like we do at Yoga 101 in our classic classes, or you can start to work on the feet if you need to release some of that tension. So heels can come to the mat, find a place to hold onto you so you don't fall, or you can lift high on your tippy toes if you need to stretch through the center of the foot. Some of those muscles there can get really tight. Go ahead and come back to your squat. Put your hands on the mat, pick your right foot up. That's where I was going with that. And put it down. And I've got a cat in my way, so I got to move him a little bit. It seems so selfish, doesn't it? I'm sorry. All right, so we're in runner's lunge here. We're going to take a little bit of movement here. We're going slow through this first set. So hips side to side. And then let's take this into a modified pyramid. So stretch straight through that left leg. You can bring chin to shin or tuck and round, whatever your choice. Back to our runner's lunge. Take your palms to the mat. Pick your left foot up. Use core to step that left leg back to the right. Take an inhale breath. Hold. Don't hold your breath. hold your plank pose. That's what I meant to say. And we're going to come all the way down onto belly, chest, chin. So take another inhale, power up. And then as slow as you can, elbows next to the ribs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Belly, chest, chin. Untuck those toes, separate them to the width of the mat, and take this into your cobra. So it could be baby, it could be chaturanga arms, or you can walk your heels of your hands back towards the hips, straightening the arms, taking this into a big cobra. Wherever you are this morning is fine. Take one more breath, shoulders away from ears, and fold back down. You can push your way back to plank. I'm taking this into tabletop, and then tuck toes under, downward facing dog. 3-legged dog with right leg. Lift the heel up. Keep those hips level. Push into the palms of your hands. Maybe you point your toes, open up your hips here, bend the knee, roll through those ankles 3 or 4 times one way, and then go back the opposite direction. Don't straighten the leg, just pull your knee towards your chest and step your foot through for runner's lunge on the opposite side. So hips side to side. And then straighten through that front leg, maybe curling and rounding, maybe it's a flat back. Back to runner's lunge. We're stepping forward off of left foot. Inhale. Exhale, squat, tuck and round or work on those feet. Inhale to lift the hips. Forward fold on the exhale breath. Half lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. And then come all the way to standing. Inhale all the way up. Arms up overhead. Exhale, take it into your back bend. Inhale, straight spine. Exhale, dive. Hi, JP. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, deep squat. Exhale, if you'd like to, tuck and round or do anything else you prefer. Inhale, eye gaze forward. Left foot steps back this time. Inhale, chest and eye gaze forward. Straighten through that right leg. I don't know if you knew that's where I was going, but one more. Little modified pyramid, one of my favorites. Palms to the mat, right leg back. Take a breath. You can go through your chaturanga, up dog, down dog, or take a breath and come all the way down onto belly, chest, chin. Lift into your cobra. Inhale. Exhale. We're all meeting in downward facing dog. This time, left leg lifts. 3-legged dog, heel up, toes down, hips level, pull the belly in. So scoop it up. Point your toes, open up your hips, let the knee bend, move through the ankle 3 or 4 times, clockwise. Who knows which way I'm going, counterclockwise. And then do not straighten that leg, just level the hips, pull the knee to the chest, flex the toes, try to step your foot through without lifting the palms of the hands. Easier said than done. Inhale, chest and eye gaze forward. Exhale, straighten through that left leg. Inhale, runner's lunge. Step off of that right foot. As you exhale, move into your squat. Last one, tuck and round. Inhale to lift those hips. Exhale, fold in. Half lift on your inhale. Exhale, fold in. Let your arms hang heavy. This time we're going to roll our way up. If you don't want to do that, of course, that's your choice. When you get to the top, lift the chin, roll the shoulders back and down. Your palms may turn open towards the front of your mat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. No squat this time, palms to the mat. Hop or walk back to your plank. Take your flow or maybe hold plank. That's what I'm doing. So you may be chaturanga, up dog, everyone meet in downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up high. Point your toes right away. Open up your hip, bend your knee. And if you'd like to, look over or under that left shoulder and flip your dog. So you're going to put your right foot on the mat. Maybe you walk your left foot so the sole of the foot is also on the mat. And then lift belly, lift chest. Slowly coming back to three-legged dog so the right hand plants. And then kick that right leg underneath the left leg. You can always put the right foot on the mat for balance or lift it up. 3, 2, 1. Back to three-legged dog. Bend your knee. Step your foot through. Lower the left knee to the mat. And then send your hips back slightly so you can place your hands on the top of that thigh. Inhale. Exhale. Let the pelvis reach forward. Feeling the stretch right here in that left hip flexor. It's a big one. You can keep your hands on your thighs if you need that support, or if you're ready, arms come up overhead. Feel free to tuck those left toes under too if it helps you take some of the pressure off of that hip flexor. It can be pretty intense. Pull the belly in, knit the lower rib cage in. We're not sticking way out here. We're pulling back, but your arms are also back by the ears. Take an inhale breath. Hook your thumbs, bend your elbows, and take this into a little bitty back bend. Inhale, arms back up. Unhook the thumbs, take your hands to the mat, and straighten through that right leg. Now, you may be warm enough to start working on your splits here. So if you have blocks, you can place them next to your hips and start to slide the right foot forward, left knee back, right foot forward, left knee back, until you find your closest splits. And if that's not good for you, just stay in that half split. Let's change. Moving into lizard lunge here, because we always go there. You're going to slide your hips forward. Take your hands to the inside of that right foot. Walk the foot out, either rolling onto the side of the foot or the sole of the foot can stay on the mat. You can take your right hand to that thigh and push it away. You can come down onto forearms. You can place your head on a double fist. Or you can take it into that quad stretch. I know those of you that are watching know exactly where to go with your body because I've seen you in class. You guys are mindful yogis. Every day is different. We all know that. Let's slowly change. Coming back to runner's lunge. Walk that that is a right foot back to center. Tuck your left toes. Lift that left knee. Palms to the mat, step your right foot back. Another chance for a flow. Chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog. And then pull up through that belly. Downward facing dog. Let's do left side, left leg lifts. Point your toes, open up your hips, bend your knee. And then a chance to flip the dog on this side. So flipped dog are both soles of feet on the mat. So you look like you're about to move into wheel pose. Or you can keep that right leg straight if you'd rather. Wild thing. And change. Back to three-legged dog. And then we're going to take it into that rock star. So you're going to kick that left leg underneath the right leg. Feel free to put it down if you need a rest. Or lift up. 3, 2, 1. Back to three-legged dog. Bend the knee. Step the foot through. Lower the right knee to the mat. Send the hips back slightly as you take your hands to the top of that left thigh. And then when you're ready, float the hips forward. You're not worried about this knee. Doesn't have to be stacked here because your right knee is protecting. Weight is going into that right knee. Feel free to tuck those right toes under. Squeeze the right glute. That will protect that right hip flexor. When you're ready, arms shoot up overhead. Bring the biceps back towards the ears. Maybe you hook your thumbs and take that back bend. If you didn't like it on the other side, you don't have to do it here. Maybe a little bit too intense. Arms up, inhale. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor. Start to straighten through that left leg. I like to pick up my foot and slide it because it doesn't slide as well. But maybe it slides forward. And into your splits if you did it on the other side. Otherwise, just stay in that half splits. If you think about it, you're halfway towards splits there. One more breath wherever you are, and then into lizard lunge. Take your time, coming out of whatever pose you were in, sliding the hips forward, walk that foot out. You can roll onto the side of the foot. You can take it down. What did you do on the other side? Try to recreate it. Like I was saying, each side is going to feel different, tighter in different places, a little more challenging. This side is my more challenging side for sure, but you're trying to make that equal. That's why we do yoga. One more breath in your lizard lunge, and then you're going to come back to runner's lunge, walking that foot back to center, tuck right toes, lift that knee, left leg back, flow or no, your choice. You can hold plank. Good core work. Everyone meet in downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to lower our forearms onto the mat. You can keep your palms down, or you can interlace your fingers, just taking this into dolphin. Just feeling those shoulders stretch. If this is not good for you, you can just stay in down dog or lower into a child's pose for a moment. If you want more of a challenge, you start to walk those feet up towards the elbows. Make sure that your elbows are shoulder width apart. One more breath is all we're going to be here. Just throwing in this little challenge. And change. Walk those feet back if you brought them forward. Unwind yourself. And then look forward, hop or walk your way to the top of the mat. If you're hopping, try to be as light on the landing as possible. Take a half lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold down. And then come all the way to standing. Bring your hands down, heart center. Take a deep breath. Working on 2 balancing poses. We're going to do hand to toe pose, and then we're going to do a standing bow, or you can do dancer's pose if you have a strap, or if you have even a belt would work. So stand hand to toe. Left hand will come to the waist. Right leg lifts just as if you were going into head to knee pose. You can take your right hand to the thigh, or the top of the knee rather. You can open up from here. You can reach your left arm out to the left. Now if you're going for the toe, look down, peace fingers around that big toe, send the heel forward. This is such a challenge without mirrors for me. Open up, open up. The biggest challenge here, if you have this and you feel nice and steady, is taking that eye gaze out past your left thumb. Holding here for 3, 2, 1. Now, everyone bring that leg back to center. Bend the knee. If it isn't already, bring your arms up next to those ears. Now, kick the right heel forward. Try to get the leg straight. Hold it parallel for 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee, lift the thigh, kick it out. Hold 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee, lift the thigh. Last one, kick it out. 3, 2, 1. With a straight leg, lower down. Arms by your sides. So the nice thing about that is it's preparing you to do head to knee and not have to hold on quite as tight, because your leg gets really strong and it's able to hold itself parallel. Other side, right hand to the right hip, left leg lifts. Again, either left hand to the knee or peace fingers around that big toe, kick forward. Try to pull the shoulder back over the hips and then kick out. A lot of balance here. And balance is not something you lose because you're getting older. Balance is something you lose because you don't practice. So coming to yoga, you're practicing balance. And some people will say, I never really balance that well. That's okay. I guarantee coming to yoga, you're balancing better than you would. Back to center. So bring it back. Bend that left knee. Arms up. Take a breath and kick forward. 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee. Lift the thigh. Kick. 3, 2, 1. This side's harder for me. Bend the knee. Lift. Kick. 3, 2, 1. Straight leg down. Arms by your sides. Take a deep breath. All right, so dancer's pose. You can use a strap strapping that foot, bringing it up behind you. I don't have my strap with me. I can see it, I'm not gonna go get it. So I'm just doing bow pose. Standing, I'm gonna turn to face this side so you can see what I'm doing. Standing on the left leg, left arm comes up, right palm reaches out, step forward into that left foot, pick up the inside of that right ankle. If that's not gonna work for you today, you can always take the outside for now, and over time you're wanting to walk it to the center. Bring the knees back together. If you need a wall, take a walk to the wall, just listen to my voice. Take an inhale breath, lift the chest. Exhale, kick that foot back. So we're just doing one set of this. Your body may be saying, oh my goodness, what is happening? And that's all right. Just breathe into it. Chest reaches forward. Eye gaze out past those left fingers. The left arm is lifted and strong and straight. That's your arrow, creating tension by kicking the right foot into the right hand. Let's go for the last 10 seconds. Maybe you start to drop down. Are you still breathing? 3, 2, 1. Release with ease. So that spine has been compressed. Let it go. If you need a little forward fold after that, you can take it. Other side. Standing right. Right arm up, left palm out. I'm turning to the other side. You're going to never flip your palm. It's going to face the outside of your mat as you reach down and grab your ankle. Knees back together. Take a deep breath and begin to kick. So you're not going too far right here. As a matter of fact, this is standing bow as well. As long as you are really energized out through those right fingers and you're using that left foot to kick, those knees can stay quite a bit close together. Otherwise, you're going to kick and let this shoulder open up. One more big breath. And then we're going to take it to our last 10 seconds. So that's where you may start to move. Lowering the torso, kicking the foot, reaching the right fingers. One day getting the chin to the shoulder. 3, 2, 1, and release. Come out slowly. Again, if you need that little forward fold to release that spine, for some reason today I'm needing that. And make your way up. You can turn to face the side of your mat, step out wide, arms out, take a breath, and forward fold all the way down. Just let it go. Turn your toes out, heels in, take it into a yogi squat. We have less than 10 minutes here. I promised I wouldn't keep you much longer. So we're just going to take this into our final stretches. Let's do pigeon. Haven't done pigeon in quite a while. So if you're turned to the side, take your hands to the mat, facing forward, lift your right leg up high, pull your knee to your chest, take that right knee to the back of the right wrist, slide the left leg back. So a lot of people, when they begin, their foot, the right foot on this side, is down into that left hip crease. That is pigeon. That's perfectly fine. Over time, you're working to get that calf parallel to the front of your mat, your toes flex to the side of the mat, and make sure that you're not rocking way over here into that hip. If you are, you can take your block and put it underneath that hip to lift it up so that you don't rock into it. There have been times when I've been really tight in my hips and you just go back to the block. Doesn't matter if, last week you were able to do this without one. Every day is different, as I say. Let's take another breath. Maybe go to one more place. Try to relax the body. Not long in this pigeon pose. And then we're going to take it to the other side. So if you have your block, remove it. Make sure it's somewhere you can grab it. And then send that right leg back up. I always like to do that, kind of shake it out. Left leg lifts. Pull your knee to the back of that wrist. Lower down, go slow. You're sliding that right leg back. I always recommend when you first start doing pigeon, you look back at that leg. A lot of times the leg is way over on the side, or maybe it's hooked back behind you. A lot of times people will take their toes and turn them one way or another too. So you don't want you want your foot flat on the mat, that leg straight behind you. And then, if you're working on going further, the calf one day comes parallel to the front. Woo, this side is much tighter for me, always my left side tighter. So you make a mental note of what side is tighter, and then you just let it go. You don't dread going into that side because you think, oh, this is going to be so much worse. This isn't going to feel good. Actually, I love to stretch the tighter side. It's a little more challenging. I definitely have to take my deeper breaths. But that's okay. Last big full cycle breath. I always like to give one more so that you can melt to one more place if you have it in you. And then back to downward facing dog. If you want that challenge, don't let that left foot touch the floor. Just reach it back up behind you and then lower it back down. Bring your knees to the floor. Roll over onto your back. One last pose, a twist, before we take it into final Shavasana. So keeping the left leg straight, bend your right knee. Slide your hips over to the right. Left hand guides that right leg across you. Right arm can reach out. You can look past your right fingers. You can bend that left leg. Take hold of it with the hand if you need a little bit more. Try to get that left shoulder back to, sorry, this is my right shoulder, back to the floor. Let's take one more deep inhale breath. Exhale, melt a little deeper into your twist. And then we're going to change. Unwind, be gentle with that spine. Lay flat for one moment to realign. And then right leg stays straight, left knee bends. Slide the hips to the left so that you line up the chin with your left hip as you cross over. I always get a crack and pop on this side. Every time. It doesn't matter if it's a seated spine twist or if it's a supine spine twist, it always cracks. As long as cracking doesn't hurt, it's okay. Just putting things back in place. And I've noticed since being at home that my neck hurts quite a bit more. I've done a lot of online, TV watching, binging, things like that, and so I crank my neck forward, so that's a place that's a bit tight. So stretching that out. And change. Unwind yourself. Maybe take your feet to the mat and kind of windshield wiper side to side. Realign every single vertebra. And then find your final Shavasana. And if you don't have anything pressing to do, the coffee can wait. If you don't have a child that's crying for you or something's happening in another room that you have to attend to, I recommend you stay here 5, even 10 minutes to get the full benefit of a Shavasana. Close your eyes, take simple breaths. In other words, not focusing totally on the breath, just let it enter and exit the body naturally. Weather is supposed to be beautiful today, sunny, not raining, and in the 60s. So try to get out and enjoy the outdoors. Take a walk, sit on your patio, people watch. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Namaste.